Hey everyone, it's time for Old Roommates. This week on the show, we revisit Ever After, a special birthday request starring Drew Barrymore. So grab your nearest dustpan and brush and join us, won't you?
Hey everybody, and welcome to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. This is Brian.
And this is Christina.
And today, we are talking about Ever After, which is... So Christina, we have a super fan.
We do.
Her name is Nicole. It is Nicole's birthday today.
Happy birthday, Nicole.
May 18th, and she sent us an email a few months ago asking if we could review her favorite movie. Now, I will caution people about these kind of requests. We get requests like this sometimes on the show because we are reviewing them, and you always hope that you like these rewatches.
For sure.
But it is a gamble, so... As much we do thank Nicole for her request, and we are going to dive into Ever After.
Absolutely. The other thing to consider, too, is one of the criteria of revisiting this movie is that we have both watched it.
Before.
So, luckily, this is a movie that we have both watched in the past, and it follows all of the criteria.
That's true.
And we are happy to revisit as our little birthday gift to you, Nicole.
Yeah, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Nicole.
Really quick, I'll add to that, another really quick, is that because we do get emails from people like, what about these? And they'll send us a list of 10 movies. The challenge is, a lot of them are after 2000. 2000 is our cutoff. And then the other thing is, one of us hasn't seen it, or neither of us have seen it.
Right.
But this one worked out. So Ever After, let's dive in. Christina, then, Ever After, when was the first time you saw this movie, and what was your feeling?
Well, I will tell you, I've only seen this movie one time, which is kind of rare. You know me, I watch things quite a few times, and you do too.
Yeah.
This was definitely a rental, and it was one of those, I don't know about what I want to watch today. I was looking for a movie, and it just happened to be on the shelf. And I thought, why not? So that's how I saw it. And I liked this movie. I didn't love this movie. I liked a lot about it. The character of Cinderella, if you will, and how a little bit more modern in the way they were thinking about her. And her personality was a bit stronger than the typical fairy tale. So I actually I liked this movie. Again, not love, but a solid like. What about you?
Cool. I remember thinking, so I saw it in the movie theater with Naomi. Naomi is a huge Drew Barrymore fan.
Yes.
Which actually reminds me that
Which is funny because just last week was Naomi's birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The Mother's Day episode, yeah.
Oh, that's right. And Naomi, and so we went to see it. And at that point, Drew Barrymore had this, sort of resurgence. So she had made Mad Love. She had made Ever After. She had made a few. I thought I wrote them down. Maybe I didn't.
I thought this was a little different for her, though, wasn't it?
Oh, it's really, because she had made Poison Ivy, and,
Right.
I think she was trying to become more adult, because she'd had some challenges, and was kind of reinventing herself as a serious dramatic actress. She made the Amy Fisher TV movie.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
She had made an Aaron Spelling show with, was it Jennifer Beals?
Oh,
it was like a soap opera thing. But yeah, the big success came from the sort of borderline, I would argue it's almost a family movie. It's the story of Cinderella to a degree. Character's name is Danielle. But I remember thinking, this is cute. This is a cute movie. I love Drew Barrymore. I've met Drew Barrymore a few times.
Oh, look at you.
Maybe remind me. Maybe I'll tell it at the end of the show. Though,
you know you will.
I don't have it. No, I didn't.
I do not need to remind you.
I don't even have it in my notes.
All right, we'll see.
I'm going to add it to my notes. Now I'm going to forget. But but it's like, everyone loves Drew Barrymore. Just anyway.
She's such a likable person.
It's
And
like...
So it's almost the opposite of what you say about Barbara Streisand.
Yeah,
Right?
that's right.
She seems very approachable. I feel like if we bumped into each other on the street, easily have a 5-minute conversation with her, I bet she would be just super cool, super fun, and yeah, I just have no doubt about it in my mind.
It would be like hating Christmas if you didn't like Drew Barrymore. That's how I think about it.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't like Drew Barrymore? Like, it's just a
Like,
weird
what's
choice
not to like about her?
She's, I know.
Just...
Now she has her own talk show. I've not watched it, but
I've only seen clips of it.
But she seems like she's like just charming. So I really liked Ever After, and I liked it. But I have to be honest, I think I've only seen it once in the movies and then once on DVD.
I've only seen it once.
Yeah, I don't think I've watched it over and over. But so really quick, this was directed by Andy Tennant and written by Susanna Grant, who also co-wrote this, I should say. She also wrote Erin Brockovich, In Her Shoes, Pocahontas, the Disney movie, and its sequel.
So another Disney. Like, I mean,
that sort of fairy tale. Yeah, and then, and In Her Shoes, Cinderella's Shoes.
Oh, interesting.
So weird. And then she also wrote, slightly different, Unbelievable for Netflix, which is like that drama. I think Toni Collette's in it. But anyway. But yeah, so let's dive into now Christina Ever After.
Ever After. So I watched this a few weeks ago, and what's funny, I have a ton of notes on it. And I think it's because my memory of this movie was very poor. I remembered, one thing I did remember was the line that she says near the end of the movie, where she says, a bird can love a fish, but where will they live?
Yeah.
That one line has stuck with me all of these years, which is like a funny thing. And I referred to it, I've never really
quoted it.
Yeah. But it pops into my mind a lot. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, there was not a whole lot of recollection of this movie for me, which was refreshing too. Mm-hmm. So it was definitely like new eyes looking at this movie. I forgot about the fact that it was actually the old Danielle telling the story.
It's not. It's her great.
Oh, her great. Right. I forgot about that part of it.
You thought it's a flashback.
Yes, I forgot about that. It was a story of flashback. And I loved that part this time around where she was like, look, I want to set the story straight. Mm-hmm. Because over the years, it's turned into this Cinderella damsel in distress. Yeah. And that part of me, I loved. Mm-hmm. It was similar enough to the Cinderella story, but also different enough that it was a little bit more realistic. Yeah. I liked it. Mm-hmm. Tell me your first impressions of now.
Okay, so my first impressions were, when it was over, I looked down at my notes and I had written less than a page of notes.
Which is very telling.
Shocking. Yeah. I think I was engrossed in this. I do remember when I pulled it up on Disney Plus. It's on Disney Plus right now. And when I watched it on there, I remember seeing it was like 2 hours and 1 minute. And I'm like, how is a movie 2 hours? I've seen it twice. I never felt that the movie was long. I think they do, personally for me. Not when I saw it in the movie theater, not when I watched it on DVD, and not when I watched it a couple nights ago. Mm-hmm. So to me, I feel like they make really good use of time. I don't think there's a lot of wasted moments. Every step is propelling the story forward, or you're learning something very specific about the character that doesn't feel forced. It's like, for example, the servant's husband is basically being given up to the royal family, if you will, the court, because the wicked stepmother owes taxes. Right. So she's basically giving this person he's working these taxes off or whatever. So, but meaning that was the point. Like that meaning it's like because you find out more about Danielle and the wicked stepmother through this occurrence, and it pays off because later on he's set free, and that moment between him and his wife is touching. to me.
Yes. I actually
like,
really liked that little side storyline.
Yep.
I liked the fact that that's where she kind of meets the prince, and I liked that it wasn't just them meeting in the woods 3 times. It was nice that it was incorporated in that way.
Yeah.
I really liked that storyline, although it's funny that you say you didn't feel like it was long, because there's actually a note at the end of near the end of my notes that says, "We all know how this is going to end. It's just too much and too long." And I did feel the character development was pretty good. I liked knowing more about each of the characters. They don't really know too much more about Prince Henry. Is that what it is, Henry? I think it's Henry. But I did feel like at one point I'm just like, oh my gosh, enough. Let's get on with this. I think it was the point when they gave her
to that guy.
Lepew guy, right?
Yep, yep.
Depew? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
I wrote Lepew because it's like Pepe Le Pew. It is Lepew.
Lepew.
It is Lepew. So I think at that point I was like, oh my gosh, please. Like, I think they could have done that at another point or shortened it or something. I liked the part of it, but it just seemed at that point I was like a little fatigued.
That's so interesting, Christina.
Yeah.
I respectfully disagree.
That's fine.
Because I thought when
I'll allow it.
Thank you. I thought when she got, sort of given to that guy, it was, terrible and crazy and all that. And I was like, oh, wow, I guess there's a lot more left to this movie. But that scene is actually pretty short because she saves herself. Like, she's
yes,
never...
and I love that part of it, for sure.
Yeah.
And like I said, I liked that part. I wished it had been, like, I don't know, something in there. I don't know.
It could have been drawn out, and I don't think it was. I think it was kind of like, as soon as I am going to fight my way out.
No, I don't think that scene is long. That's not what I'm saying. I just feel like that part, the stuff before that, there was too much before that. Like, I just feel like they could, that part, I love that part. I would keep that part in. I love that she rescued herself, and I love that the prince came up, and he's like, I'm here to rescue you. And she's like, I'm free. But I felt like it was just oddly placed or something. I don't know. Something about it. I was fatigued at that point.
So I felt like the pacing of that scene, and this maybe is even slightly a negative, because this movie does a great job of building up these moments, and then you're thinking it's going to go one way. I mean, I really have to just, again, respectfully disagree, because I feel like I didn't really know exactly how it was going to go, or exactly how it was going to end. I mean, they're not going to kill her, but it's
it's a Cinderella story. It's Cinderella. So
yes, Christina, I know.
So how do you not know how it's going to end?
Oh my God. Because what had gone... Where are the mice? Where's the pumpkin?
The mice are...
What? No, I know, Christina. No, I know.
Maids.
I know. Where's the fairy godmother? That's
the fairy godmother is Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah.
So we know it's a Cinderella story. We know all of those pieces are there. We know how it's going to end.
But Christina, when she shows up with the wings...
Which was over the top. But
that was beautiful.
Oh, I hated it. I hated the wings.
What is wrong with you?
The wings are too much.
You hate Christmas. So she shows up, but that was the whole thing. Like, a bird, you love that line, a bird could love a fish. And now he's like, well, then we'll give you wings.
So why didn't he have little guppy lips then?
Because fish are fish.
Yeah, they're ugly.
So... Imagine if he just like soaked her wet. She shows up soaking wet with gills on her face.
Or he shows up in a fish costume.
So, oh my God! But the point of the setups were like, so she shows up in the wings, and it is very over the top. I fell for it. I liked it. It's a fairy tale, and
now you feel like it's a fairy tale.
But
what about the mice, Brian?
But you think it's going to be like they're going to have this big dance together because it's a ball. And instead, that's not what happens. Within 3 minutes, she has a wing ripped off of her. She is exposed as a fraud and all this kind of stuff. And she runs away. That's not what happens in the fairy tale. It just turns midnight and she has to run.
Right.
So, and also in the fairy tale, she doesn't meet, I don't think she meets the prince once in the... What happens in
I don't
in, like,
think
the
she
Disney?
ever meets the prince.
Except
none
at the ball.
of them meet the prince. They just know who he is, and he's going to be choosing a wife.
No, but in the Disney one,
right?
That's animated. What I mean.
Yes.
They don't meet once by accident.
No. Nope.
Oh my God, I don't know about that. Okay.
You don't know about that? Are you questioning Cinderella?
I'm questioning you.
I have a 13-year-old daughter.
Okay.
We've seen Cinderella several times.
I thought she met him before the ball. Maybe she didn't. Well, I'll take your word.
You're being confused. You're being confused.
Was it Sleeping Beauty then?
Sleeping Beauty, they meet in the woods.
First. Okay, well, only because you just said none of them do. But it's okay.
What do you mean? No, I mean...
You just said none of them meet the prince.
None, meaning her and her stepsisters. And the mother. I'm still talking about the same movie, my friend.
Christina, I swear to God.
You are really...
I will
you are... I will
flip this table.
I was just thinking to myself when I was listening to our last episodes, and I'm like, we really haven't fought much in a while. And here we go.
Thank
you, Nicole, for bringing this out.
We're just fighting the whole time.
I'm just joking.
By the way, I haven't even said a single note yet.
I have no idea what I'm writing out yet.
Okay, so I guess my point is there's these big setups. So when she's taken by the evil guy, you think, oh God, how is she ever going to escape? Mm-hmm. And she does it in 30 seconds. Oh my God, she shows up. They're going to have this big, beautiful moment together. That doesn't happen. She gets beat up, wings ripped off, and she runs away. She gets exposed, the whole thing. So... she walks in when they're holding up the mother's wedding dress, and they actually pull back and say, "Oh, no, we're just taking it out to."
That surprised me. And I have a note, like, why?
I don't know either.
Like, what's the point? Are you trying to spare her feelings now?
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense to me.
Well, I think maybe my thought was, are they downplaying their intention? Meaning it's not the dress.
Right.
It's that the intention is... they don't want Danielle to know that the prince... No, that doesn't make sense. She already knew. She already knew at the wedding.
It didn't make any sense that they would all of a sudden be like, oh...
No. At that point, the wedding to the Spanish princess is revealed right after that scene, I thought. Because they're trying... Right?
No, this is at the very beginning when they find out about the ball.
But then what's her name? The wicked stepmother, Angelica Houston, is sitting with the woman, the queen, and she's like, "Oh, well, yes, Christina. Oh no, wait.
No, it's right on my first page of notes. It's really early on.
Okay.
Really early on. It says the dress. It seems out of character that the Baroness wouldn't just take the dress. Why all the excuses? So this is the very beginning of the movie when they first find out. It's before the ball. It's before meeting the queen. Okay. It's before all of that, which is why it's crazy. So there's the other scene when they decide, oh, I'm just taking it. And that's more in line of their characters.
Yeah.
And that was as a punishment to Danielle for some reason. I forget why. She was out all night or something like that. Or
with gypsies
something.
And
So, but that beginning, that first time when they took, because she's like, what are you doing with my mother's dress?
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know, she said she's airing it out or something.
Yeah.
Something stupid. But yes, very out of character, very strange.
My very first note actually is, why must you irritate me so? Angelica Houston, let's talk about her. We talked a bit about Drew already. Just as a note, she's so good.
One of my favorite actresses of all time.
Really?
Yep, I love Angelica Houston. I don't know too many of her movies, but every time she's on screen, I'm fascinated by her.
And she's so good in The Grifters, so good in The Witches.
Well, even in The Addams Family.
I've never seen those movies,
Oh, she's so good. She's so good. One of my first notes is just basically about the father's death.
So that's my first, I wrote watery. Oh shit, that's a different note. Good, sorry.
Okay. I thought it was interesting that they took their time and showed the death and not just heard about it. So I think in other versions of Cinderella, the beginning part is very...
They're already dead. Yeah. Or it's like...
He was never heard from again.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting that he basically has a heart attack, right? And just falls off his horse.
Well, he had been doing a lot of traveling. He had just gotten back from a big adventure. He was
tired,
He was very tired.
And I thought it was really touching. I really believed, speaking of Angelica Houston's character, I'm going to call her the Baroness. I forget her first name.
Okay.
I really believed that she had feelings for him.
Oh, I did too.
Which... Yeah. In the past, I don't think, in other versions of Cinderella, I've never felt that way.
Completely agree.
Yeah, I've always felt that they just got married, married him for the money or whatever. I think that set the stage for more of a reason to hate or resent the daughter. Mm-hmm. It made so much more sense that she loved him and then realizes after, on his deathbed, right, when he's about to die, he says something about his daughter, right, and not his wife. And that sets up the whole relationship, like, forget it, you're dead to me. Yeah. Or you're going to be my slave now, or whatever.
Well, it's a jealousy thing, because Drew Barrymore, Danielle got so much more time with him, and this is robbed of her, this whole thing. Her name is, I looked it up, Baroness Rodmilla de Ghent.
Yeah, I don't know if they've ever used her name.
I think it was the Baroness.
Yeah, I think it was just the Baroness. Her stepmother.
But really quick, Manhattan Murder Mystery is, she's done some Woody Allen stuff, obviously, but she was in This Is Spinal Tap.
Oh, she was like the manager, I think.
Yeah, Pritzi's, Polly Deutsch. Pritzi's Honor, Crimes and Misdemeanors, Enemies, A Love Story, The Grifters, The Addams Family.
She's just one of those women, even just
Royal Tenenbaums.
As herself, Royal Tenenbaums, that was good.
Yeah. Even
just as herself is fascinating. Just her
her persona. I forget what movie I was watching. Do you remember, was it a TV show when they're talking about Ugly Hot? Oh. And they were saying like, she's ugly hot. Like, who's some ugly hot people? And what was it? Was it Girls? I'm trying to think what it was, either a TV show or a movie. And they're talking about ugly hot.
That sounds like a Girls.
And they're like, Benicio del Toro is ugly hot. Mm-hmm. Angelica Houston's ugly hot. It's like these dramatic features.
Yes.
That at first glance might be like a little imposing, but they're hot. Mm-hmm. She has so many amazing, great facial expressions. Yes. I actually think if you had this on mute, you would completely know exactly what's 100% going on with her, by her face. I wrote watery-eyed when she's talking about Danielle's mother and father, and she said, and then she sort of catches herself because she's having this sort of sensitive moment, and you feel that bitterness because Danielle's mom got to spend time with him. Danielle had a lifetime, well, not really a lifetime, but her childhood with him. Mm-hmm. She was robbed of this time. And she's realizing this, and she's talking to Danielle about Danielle's eyes. And, and she said, I see so much of your father in you. And Drew Barrymore's face, softens.
Yeah.
And she's really feels like she's bonding with this woman who's supposed to be her mother. He's supposed to be looking out for her.
Yes.
And she softens, and then the Baroness sort of catches herself and says, such masculine features.
Yes.
And it's just such good acting from both of them.
That is one of my favorite scenes of this whole movie. It is so well done, mm-hmm. well acted. Mm-hmm. You really feel, and I think it's Angelica Houston that's really, Drew's really good in it too, but I think Angelica Houston really makes that scene with the complex emotions that she's feeling and how guarded she's trying to be, but she's also feeling, feelings probably for the first time in a while, and mm-hmm. It's really, really interesting.
Well, it's not, because I don't think necessarily it's there in the script, but mm-hmm. she adds, the emotion, the watery eyes, the facial expressions, the sort of looking off into nothing and really,
mm-hmm.
taking the moment in and thinking about how she's feeling, which you don't get that in the Disney. You don't get that in the
Not at all.
You don't get that in the animated thing. She is a one-note villain.
100%.
And this is it just makes the movie that much stronger.
It really does. It makes her character so much stronger, mm-hmm. and it's I love that about her.
And like you're saying, there's a reason. There's a bitterness, there's a jealousy, there's a sadness, and yeah.
Yes, the depth of her character is one of my favorite parts of this movie. Mm-hmm. It's so refreshing to see some depth in the villain. Mm-hmm. And even having a little bit of empathy for her, really. I
felt something. I really did. I felt something for that character as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a note, Christina, maybe you can help me. I said, Harry's not quick on the uptake. Oh, no, that is the scene. She's bawling her eyes out. So they meet at that, Danielle and the prince meet at that sort of abandoned school or church or whatever it was. And she's bawling her eyes out. She has something to tell him. And for some reason, I guess he goes first. And she's bawling her eyes out, and he's just talking about his dreams. And it's like, would you really not ask her what's wrong? She has tears streaming, bursting out of her eyeballs. And he's just talking about his dreams and his dreams.
It's all about him.
Yeah, it's like, does he think that she's crying over his dreams? Come on.
Yeah, that was an awkward scene.
Yeah.
I didn't like that scene at all.
Me neither. I think it would have been better without.
I agree. I mean, I guess it showed that she was trying to do the right thing. She was trying to tell him the truth. But I think that could have been done in a different way because it didn't make him look good at all.
It made him seem very oblivious to her feelings. And what they could have done, and she could have been talking to the housekeepers and been like, the mice, if you will. Today is the day, guys. I have to tell the prince the truth. Yes. I'm going to go. And she turns, and the Baroness is in the hallway saying, "Oh, no, Danielle, you must clean the fireplace. We're having company." And as she's cleaning the fireplace, she's all upset because she can't tell him the truth. Like, boom, there you go. There's the moment. That
would be perfect.
Much more. It would have been even more powerful because then the reason why she couldn't tell him is because the Baroness wouldn't let her get out of the house.
That's right. And it would have made the movie shorter.
I'm going to say, I will stand by what I said. I did not find this long. Christina, do you want to know the truth? I'm going to say it. I almost watched it again. I almost watched it yesterday because I'm like, I don't have very many notes, and I really think this is a complete look and feel film. Like, I feel like it does everything really, really right for what it wants to be, you know? And I have very few notes and very few criticisms. Like, even Danielle, I wrote down my note, one of my few notes is, she's basically Bernie Sanders. And this is like, and let's remove political affiliations and all that away from everything. But truly, she is fighting for the working poor. She's fighting elitist systems. She's fighting higher taxes on those less fortunate. She's obviously a feminist. It's such a great character.
It is a great character.
And it's not shoved down your throat.
No.
She has to say these things in the moment because she's fighting on behalf of someone else.
Yes.
And I think that feels very real. And even like the dialogue was like, that feels right for this movie.
Sure.
You know?
No, I agree 100%. I really liked her dialogue. I really liked her fights. Like, it wasn't just words. There was a lot of passion behind it. There was a lot of meaning behind it.
Yeah, it wasn't just like, take a day off, Danielle. It was like, she has to do this because people are in trouble. I love the line. And she just sells it so... Although that's another note I have. She has this line, "I would rather die 1,000 deaths than to see my mother's dress on that cow." There's a word before cow, and I missed the word. Oh. But yeah, she's like... that was just... and that was a powerful moment. I wrote Drew delivers the great punch. There's also a scene in the woods. I'm sure you have that note where she carries.
And that's I love that. Yeah, so I have
that scene.
First of all, I did have a note that said it was very refreshing how they actually got to get to know each other.
Yeah.
And this is before that scene with the gypsies that showed up.
That's right.
And it was just nice. They were like actually getting to know each other, which doesn't even happen in a typical movie.
1,000%.
Right? Pretty in Pink comes to mind. But it was nice. Yeah. You actually felt like they spent the day together and they were actually speaking with each other and learning about each other. And then the sword fight comes, with this gypsies.
Yeah.
They're, I don't know, they're going to kidnap him or...
We'll take his money and probably kidnap him for ransom.
Whatever, whatever it was going to do. But it was funny because the sword fight is like 1,000,000 against 1. Not very fair.
Yeah.
And then, yes, it said at the end, she stands up for him. So she actually rescues him.
1,000%.
Which is super refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, okay, you may take whatever you can carry. And so she lifts him up over his shoulder. Much like, and chances are, with Robert Downey Jr. carrying Ryan O'Neal.
Just like it.
I guess that's how you carry someone.
But it also shows... Yeah, really. I've never considered it.
We'll have to try it later.
That is exactly... we'll do an Instagram video of me...
Once we're fully vaccinated.
You throw me over... Yeah, throw me over your shoulder. There we go. Absolutely.
Oh my God, funny.
Yeah, yes. That's so great. And she thought about it. It's like, let me leave with whatever I can carry. And she's like, do you mean that, Seth? And then she does. It's so good. And that scene, I remember seeing that in the movie theater, and the audience, there was that satisfying laugh.
Yes.
Because it's surprising.
It is surprising. It always actually surprises me in these movies, and I think it's from that time where, these people are ready to, kill you for your gold. Yeah. And then it's like, you have my word.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, really?
That's
okay.
Right.
I guess that's okay. And then he laughs, and the gypsies laugh, and they become friends with the gypsies, and which is great. It would have been nice to see the gypsies later in the movie.
Yeah. Well, they said she wants to invite... Who says it? That he wants to invite the gypsies, and the parents freak out.
I forgot that part.
He wants to invite the gypsies to the ball. Because he's like, I want to have a ball.
So do they invite them? Do they show up?
They got to be there.
They must be there. I kind of forget that part.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the gypsies are there.
But then after that scene is when she sees them with the dress, because she was out all day.
Right.
And I think at that point they know that she's been with the prince. Right? When is it that they find out before she knows that they find out? Because that's the whole setup.
Well...
That's the whole reveal.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how that all broke down.
But she shows up, and they're like, well, we've taken the dress.
Yeah, because she used her mother's name. So Danielle used her mother's name.
Oh, yeah,
she's like,
yes.
oh, no, do you know a Baroness von Blanky Blank? And she's like...
Oh, she's like, I do.
And now she just puts all the pieces together. And the blonde stepdaughter's punching the air. And she's like,
oh, that was
a bee.
That was a little bit strange.
Yeah.
That she would do that.
Lose her cool so quickly.
Well, and she steps away 3 feet away from the queen and does this crazy
flipping
punch
her
in the
arms
air,
around.
so annoyed.
Yeah.
I know it was supposed to be funny, but I didn't really find it that funny.
Well, I think it's just to show how lacking in social behavior they are.
But don't you think... So she's the one that the Baroness is grooming
her
whole life. Obviously, the other sister, which we can talk about in a minute, she's the one that should know not to do that.
I know, but they're brats. Well, she's a brat.
But I felt it was very out of character for her. I don't feel like...
It would have been stronger if she didn't do that. I found just the body movement strange.
You know what would have been better? Is if, I don't know if they were having tea. They were having tea or something with her. What if she said that and all of a sudden she crashed? She crashed crushed the teacup. That would have been a lot more effective and more in character with who she is. Because you get the sense that if she is not 100% the proper lady, no matter where she is, then she's going to get beaten. And she's probably been since age 2 having to do all this stuff. So it seems weird that she would be like, oh, I'm going to walk over here and have a fit.
A very good note, Christina.
Thank you. Finally.
Sad moment when I think Danielle says something to the Baroness like, I really thought you loved me, or you're supposed, or you're my mom. You're supposed to be my mother. You're supposed to love me. And she's like, love you? How can one love a pebble in one's shoe? Oh, evil.
So mean.
Evil.
One criticism of your beloved Drew.
Yeah, sure. Oh, the accent?
No, actually, the accent didn't bother me. You're more of an accent person.
Yes.
Yeah, the accents really bother you usually. Not usually, but it's more of a Brian thing than a Christina thing. I felt like she was not a very good crier when the book is thrown into the fire.
Okay, is that... So
it was right after she punches Marguerite.
Right. So here's the funny thing.
This is the whole dress thing. She speaks up for herself. I'd rather, whatever, the cow wearing the dress. She punches Marguerite, and then as a punishment, they take the book. Or they were going to say
so
they could,
evil.
If they said they could have the book, give us the dress, and you can have the book.
Yeah, the book.
Which is so stupid. Like, why don't they just grab the dress from her? They have all the power. I don't understand, like, that whole dynamic.
It's just torturous.
It's very strange. But anyway, they said you can have the book, and then, of course, they threw the book in the fire instead.
So evil.
The last gift her father gave her.
Yeah.
Super sad. But I didn't think that she was a very good crier in that.
Okay, so here's my thing. I liked that. I liked her screaming. I liked her crying in that scene. The scene that I wasn't so crazy about, if I'm nitpicking, is and I only think it only because it goes on too long. They rip the dress. It doesn't start to rain. She runs home, but she stops in like this little sort of doorway, and she's soaking wet, and she's sitting on the sidewalk, and she's crying, and I think the crying is a little too loud, a little too movie-ish, and just goes on way too long.
Yeah.
But the book burning, crying, I liked it. It didn't bother me.
Yeah, I liked the screaming, but the crying just didn't.
Like,
do you even have a tear in your eye, Drew? I don't think you did.
Angelica's awesome. Great facial expressions.
I do have a couple of quotes that I wrote down.
Let's hear them.
Well, I have one quote right now. I think I have others. I used to think if I cared about anything, I would have to care about everything. I think the Prince said that to her.
Yeah, that's the line from the Prince. Yeah.
And I just wrote, secrets make me anxious. I don't like secrets in movies. I really don't. It makes me anxious.
Wait, what do you mean?
Just the whole secrets thing with her not being herself.
Oh.
The whole time. And I'm like this with a lot of different, in movies and in shows. In fact, you had a show that you recommended to me and I couldn't watch it because Younger.
Oh,
Younger.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I can't. It makes me so anxious to know that someone's going to find out. Yeah, so lo and behold, I'm watching this movie. I wrote this down as a funny. Are you gonna? I'm sorry. Were you gonna comment?
I was gonna say. To me, it's I understand it. To me, it's almost like a thing. Like I'm kind of like, oh God, but it's not an anxiety. Tomorrow, it's like a frustration that I know the secret's gonna be revealed, but how bad is it gonna be?
You just like yelling.
It's not
Can you just tell him already?
Yeah.
Like that scene. That's one of the reasons I don't like that scene. Like, just tell him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And also, he should have been more in the uptake, too. She's bawling her eyes out. If I went up to you, and I was like, I have something to tell you. And you're like, I have something to tell you. And I'm bawling my eyes out. Let me talk first.
And I'm like, I think I want to go back to school. Like,
it's like, let the crying person talk first. Yeah,
do you need a tissue?
Oh, my God.
This line I wrote down as well. I can't remember who wrote it. I think it was Da Vinci who said it.
Okay.
I shall go down in history as the man who opened a door. And I think it was when Danielle was just saying, thank you, you have done so much for me. You've changed my life.
Yeah.
And he's like, I shall go down in history as the man who opened a door. I really liked his character.
Yeah.
I think he was really, really fun. And I thought that was unique to have him be the fairy godmother, person.
Yes. There's a lot of great stuff like that. And Leonardo da Vinci, I mean, it's really funny because what you're expected to go along with, it's at some points is as big as a stretch as the Disney animated version, But it's really, really, really just done so well and kept very, like I said, there's a vibe, like a tone that is very consistent, and I just liked it. It didn't feel long to me. It didn't feel like 2 hours.
Yes, you've mentioned.
What? Like I said, I don't have any notes. So, budget.
But can I just say too? One of the other things on that same idea was the second sister, Jacqueline. I appreciated that as well. Mm-hmm. So in the fairy tale, of course, both sisters are evil, and they fight with each other and everything else. In this version, there's that one Marguerite who's been, groomed to become whatever, better.
Princess material.
Material, exactly. And then Jacqueline is sort of the ugly stepsister, if you will, right? She's the sort of forgotten one. And you get the sense that if Danielle wasn't there, she would be the one that was...
It already started happening. Yeah. It already started happening.
Yeah, she got the...
Because Danielle was locked away, and suddenly it was her job to do stuff and go make the eggs and all that business. But they also did something where they refer to her weight a couple times, which I was like, I'm sorry, she's supposed to be, like, heavy? Are we supposed to consider her as heavy? She's not heavy. She's not ugly by anyone's...
No, she's really pretty.
She's really pretty and not heavy. But also, even if she was, I mean, it's just nasty dialogue.
But it was just them being nasty to her.
Right. It's something about, like, there's a line about, like, the hoof. Do you remember that? It was like...
Oh, it was, because she had some weird hat that made her look like a horse.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was some kind of comment that she was, like, horse-like.
I wonder if I wrote it down.
It was not very nice.
It wasn't very nice. But I really, really liked that they had someone a little bit more normal. Yeah. And you do feel like they will become friends. Like, they will become close. Yeah. And that they had that potential of being close, but was never able to be. So, just sort of a little bit of an ally there. And did she... I forget if she had a role in helping Drew.
Yeah, because she was... So, like, her boyfriend was, like, the prince's... sort of, the horse,
the right-hand man or whatever.
Carriage, whatever. Yeah, so she had some stuff going on. She knew stuff. She knew what the mom and the sister were going to do. So she went ahead and told that guy.
Okay. Yeah. See, I knew she had some sort of a role, but I didn't think it was very major. She was helping a little bit. Yeah. So that was, I really liked that character. So a lot of these characters were really nice and pretty flushed out. What else? Do you want to take a quick break?
Let's take a break.
Let's take a break and see what I have for any kind of notes. All right. We'll
be back.
Hey there, it's Brian and Christina. We just wanted to take this break to thank you for listening to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there.
And if you have any questions, comments, or observations, shoot us an email at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. Thanks for listening, and now, back to the show.
And we're back, talking about Ever After, our special birthday request. We hope you are enjoying this episode, Nicole. Thank you again for requesting it. I have a few more notes to talk about.
Let's hear them.
One of it I wrote, oh God. It says the proposal was sweet, but now I have no recollection of it. What was the proposal? Did she end up asking him? I forget now.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, I don't know why I wrote that down. Oh, but I did think it was really interesting that the king... Before everything was rectified with Danielle, the king actually gave him an out and basically said, you don't have to get married. And he was like, nope, I've made my decision. Yeah. And he chose some random girl. I thought that was really odd.
Oh, wait, no, he didn't choose. It was an arranged.
Well, it was arranged, but he chose to marry her, is what I mean. I just thought that was strange because the king gave him an out.
Bitter and brokenhearted, and he wanted, it was like a revenge marriage.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was a revenge rebound.
I did think it was really funny how he, basically says, okay, forget it, you don't have to marry me. Yeah. And she, runs to, the guy in the audience and in the pews. And then the parents are like, no! It was a cute little spin. Yeah. I thought it was really funny that the biggest punishment that they can give to anyone there, did you catch this?
No.
We will force you to be shipped to the Americas.
Oh, that for sure. Yeah.
Thought that was really funny.
Really quick, at the end when the woman knocks the Baroness and the blonde stepsister into the laundry dye.
Oh, yes.
So I read a little bit that the, say, like, purists of the Cinderella story liked that, because what actually, with that dye, if you get any in your eyes, you will be blinded.
Oh my
gosh. And I guess in the original Cinderella story, the book, they get their eyes pecked out by doves.
Oh my gosh. It's the Hans Christian Andersen
think
version?
so.
He usually had pretty...
Yeah. Was that the original Cinderella?
Or Grimm.
Or the Grimm brothers?
Or the Grimm... One of the... No, it must have been Grimm brothers. I'm thinking of Little Mermaid, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're not called Grimm brothers for nothing. They always have some sort of violent situation going on there. My other note, I think it's my last note actually, is another little bit of a critique. I'm sad to say. The whole scene when... One of the things I thought was kind of fun was that they got married off screen.
Okay.
They kind of got, Danielle and Prince Henry got married off screen. It wasn't a big wedding. And then they bring in the Baroness and Marguerite, have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
When they kneel before her,
mm-hmm.
they didn't know she was his wife. They didn't announce that she was his wife until after they kneeled before her. And I thought that was a little bit of I think that was a misstep. I think they should have known that she was the princess before they kneeled in front of her.
Interesting.
Yeah, it seemed a little bit off.
To me, it felt more satisfying, like, to see their reaction versus if they already knew.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, no, I liked the reaction.
And I love that whole, like, I want to treat them with the same level of...
100%. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
But I hope that they're paying her. I hope she's paying them, because then it makes her a complete hypocrite.
I don't know, Christina.
Because that was her whole problem.
Oh, I'm sure she's going to make some big changes in the kingdom.
But I mean, with the mother, the stepmother and the...
Well, that is punishment.
Yes.
I mean, then yes.
So the punishment is you're going to be my slave.
For not the whole rest of their lives.
Did she say that?
I don't know, Christina. I just don't know.
I'm just saying.
I can't imagine.
I wouldn't want her to be a hypocrite. That's all I'm saying.
I can't imagine Princess Danielle. I can't imagine.
I would have liked her to have said, and we will pay you $1 or whatever. Like something really little. But just to make her point where you're not our slave, you are being paid, but you're paid your worth, which is $1 or something like that.
Oh, God.
I think that would have been more... Oops, excuse me.
There's all those ginger chews.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Okay, so budget $26 million, box office $98 million.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a big hit.
That was a big hit.
But did you have more quotes or more notes?
I don't know. I have all the notes. Oh my gosh, I almost just knocked over our whole recording studio situation.
Stand. So,
I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
I think I already know. Did you like it better, worse, the same?
Better.
Yeah, I did too. I liked it better. And I think that you misunderstand. I did feel like it was extra long. I did feel a little bit of that fatigue, but I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the movie, and I enjoyed the characters and the character development, and I liked the twist of the Cinderella character being stronger than how it's written, and I liked all of that. I really did. I liked all of that. So nice revisit. Thank you very much. Cool. Are we ready for questions?
Yeah, really quick though, and it ties in like all of the feminist stuff and the socialist stuff. It ties into that Utopia book that is now being burned. So she has to I don't know. I feel like it's just good. There's
a lot of layers.
Fell right into it.
I think there were really smart writers of this.
Yeah. Book. Oh yeah, including Susanna Grant, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show. So, do you want to hear my Drew Barrymore story? Or do you want to do questions?
See, I knew you wouldn't forget.
I wrote it down because I knew I would forget.
Let's hear it.
It's a good story. It's a good story. So, a million years ago, 2002, 2003, I worked at a place that I don't use the real name, so I'll say it was called Schmate and Schmerl. And it was in New York. It was in Manhattan, and we had a lot of celebrities: Hilary Swank, Sheryl Crow, Whoopi Goldberg, the cast of Oz, and
they all just walked in together.
It was they all hang out. It's cute. No, it was just like but it was just a lot of celebrities, and Drew Barrymore had been in there a few times, and it was a Sunday. We were closing at an early-ish time. And she was dating this guy Fabrizio from The Strokes.
Yeah.
And
she was with him for a while.
Yes, they were. And she was very, very quiet. And he was sort of talking like on her behalf. She was a little shy. And
very un-Danielle-like.
Not Danielle-like at all.
Interesting.
And so, and she's, very cute. She's like, just, jean jacket, like just very, whatever, ordinary attire. And wrapping their glasses. They bought a bunch of like barware, so wrapping their glasses, and but I'm not talking, so I'm like, I don't want to be like a fan. Mm-hmm. But she's standing right there, and this the sort of shift manager. I was truly like a stock retail person, so I was working part time, and so the shift person was like, would you like a box? Us to put all these in a box, and I swear to God, Drew Barrymore is like, well, normally I would. She's like, but he's doing such a great job rapping. And she taps my hand.
Oh, my gosh.
Like that as if maybe I had some special needs.
You're doing such a nice job.
That's really what it was like. She was like, but she was very sweet.
My gosh.
And I was like, oh gosh. Like, because I'm so dead quiet.
That's exactly
I'm not
what
even
it was.
looking at her. I'm just sitting there wrapping the glasses. she patted my hand like, good job.
That's really
good
sweet.
job, kid. It was very sweet. So then...
It's like the beginning of some sort of crazy rom-com right there.
So then, everything's fine, and they are walking out, and suddenly, Drew is knocking on the door, because we locked the doors behind them.
Right.
And so I go over, and I'm like, hi, and she's like... Did anyone find a wallet? Is that his name, Fabrizio?
I think so.
Lost his wallet. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, well, let me check. And I check with security. I check this. I check that. And like an idiot, I'm like, if you want to give me your phone number, I can call you if you find your...
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, you know what? And then I start laughing, and she starts laughing. I'm like, don't do that. I'm like, you can just call us tomorrow if you want. She's like, well, no. She's like, but we just like... It's like we just use it. Now I'm wondering if we dropped it outside. And I'm like, let me help you. And she's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. We're looking around. We don't find the damn wallet. Oh. But what I notice is that Fabrizio's jeans are all shredded. Like, even the back pockets. I'm like, did you put your wallet in your back pocket? Oh, Christina's pen just broke.
No, I'm sorry.
Did you put your wallet in your back pocket? He's like, yeah. I'm like... Because you don't have a back pocket. Like, it's all ripped. And she's like, I knew it. She's like, She's like, we could have lost it anywhere. So,
But didn't she say she just used it?
Well, I think they were outside, and they must have gone somewhere and come back. Mm-hmm. But also, it couldn't, the register was right near the door. They couldn't have dropped it there. So, but they did come back in, and we were like, spent some time looking for it. Couldn't find it. I was so upset. I really wanted to be that person.
That would have been amazing.
Fast forward a week later, they come in, and they're just walking around, and I see her, and she's like, "Oh hey!" And I go over, and I'm like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Did you have any luck finding the wallet?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." She's like, "Thank you so much for helping us look." And Fabrizio walks over, and wearing the same jeans, and I'm like,
"Oh,"
but I'm like, so. You didn't find your wallet, but you're still wearing the jeans.
Did you say that
I
to
did.
him?
And she busted laughing, and she's like, I said that to him. She was like, I just said that to him today.
Oh, my gosh.
And then she was in later, like, another time and said hi to me. Like,
that's amazing, Brian.
Super chill, nice.
That is such a great
lady.
True story. It's not even just like, I thought you were going to end with her patting you on your hand.
That would have been enough.
I feel like you might have told me that story before, but I don't know.
But just a nice, down-to-earth, super sweet person.
That is
It makes me
awesome.
so sad that we never found that wallet.
Someone had a happy day.
Oh, my God. Well,
they probably didn't know
you wouldn't know. I don't know if you would know Fabrizio, whatever. I don't even know his last name. Whatever. Like, it's not like she lost her wallet. Oh, my God.
Right. Oh, that's so funny, though. Like, phone number?
That's like, protocol.
Of course, yeah. That's what you would do to, like, a normal person.
And then you start laughing.
That's hilarious. What a great story, Brian.
So, questions.
Almost seems real.
I didn't embellish at all, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I have an FMK for you.
Okay, and I have a regular question. So you can do the FMK first? Okay.
You know what we didn't say?
What?
Her, Danielle's father is the awful husband from Prince of Tides, Barbara Streisand's violinist husband. It's the same actor.
Oh my gosh, I never even noticed this.
Slight character change.
Let me tell you something, though.
Okay.
Did I watch Ever After first? Because I watched Ever After a while ago.
Oh my god, that's right. Yeah, you said that you were going to.
I think I watched Ever After first. I don't know if I would have I might have recognized him otherwise.
I mean, the hair is pretty different. The attire is pretty different.
Interesting. Oh my gosh.
And his accent did not drive me crazy. Because in Prince of Tides, I couldn't stand his accent.
Yeah, well.
Because it was like a Bond villain Dracula. And in Ever After, he was like, he had an accent, but it was like a friendly one.
It was like a normal.
He had a normal voice. Yeah. Maybe that's the difference. Normal voice. Okay, FMK. The King.
Okay.
The Prince.
Okay.
And a living version of the Baron. Danielle's father.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say...
FMK.
I'm going to marry the Baron.
Okay.
I'm going to F the Prince.
Okay.
And kill the King.
I was pretty wrong. That's okay. I don't know why. You're not going to like what I wrote. Never mind.
Well, now you have to say it. Did you think I was going to marry the Prince?
I thought you were going to marry the King. Because I was like, well, at that point, I mean,
he seemed normal. Like, it's not terrible.
You know what? He seemed open, at least. Mm-hmm. And it does, it seemed like they had a sort of a playful, funny relationship.
Yeah,
with the Queen.
It's not a terrible answer.
And then I had you killing the Baron, so I'm like, well, we didn't know much about the Baron. He traveled a lot.
But he seemed like a good provider.
Nice guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, your question.
All right, so I have a match game question.
Nice.
You ready? So it's more of like a Cinderella, Prince Charming kind of question.
Cool.
Okay. Cinderella said, I don't think Prince Charming is as charming as everyone thinks he is.
Oh, no.
Before the wedding, he forced me to blank. Boom, boom, boom,
okay.
boom, 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 boom. I have an answer, but I didn't write it down.
Oh, jeez.
Hold on. I'm going to just use this. Okay.
Oh, my gosh. All right.
Ding!
Ding. I hope mine's not too specific.
Okay, Cinderella said, I don't think Prince Charming is as charming as everyone thinks he is. Before the wedding, he forced me to...
go to his balls.
Well, you went right in the gutter like I thought you would.
Yeah, what did you...
I said, sign a prenup.
Oh my god, that's so good. That's so good.
Pretty good, right?
That's a much better answer.
I thought of maybe doing some sort of
filth,
like royal jewels kind of comment, like inspect the royal jewels.
Good times. That was Ever After. Happy birthday, Nicole.
Happy birthday, Nicole.
And that is it for us and for this episode of Old Roommates. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there, please.
If you have an idea for the show or a suggestion or comment, you can email us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
Thanks again for listening. Until next time.